Hey there. So, this is a good question about setbacks on the Sinclair method. Because this is a long term treatment protocol for alcohol use disorder, it does take time to work. So, there are definitely going to be some bumps in the road along the way. And this is true even when taking a medication, because the medication works so well to help quiet the cravings in the brain, which really, in my opinion, gives us the space to do the internal work to really get recovered and get to the bottom of why we've been overusing alcohol to begin with. But the medication for me, it was a crucial component, but there were still things I had to do with, changing my habits, creating new coping tools, and just redefining my relationship with alcohol and creating a life that didn't revolve so much around alcohol. I will say if you go to our website, the link is in the bio, thrivealcoholrecovery.com, and you go to the resources page, we actually have a course that's called 10 Mistakes on the Sinclair Method. It's a free course. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but that's a really good resource to kind of understand the challenges that can come along with this method and how you can mitigate them or just even be aware of them and recognize that it's a normal part of this process. I think one of the, couple of the common setbacks I see, like number one, in order to be successful with this medication, you really have to commit to being compliant with taking the medication before you drink 100% of the time. Like even if you're only 99% compliant, it's still going to throw off your brain because your brain's going to be getting the occasional reward from alcohol, and by doing that, it's intermittent reinforcement of the behavior. And so what's going to happen is it can result in your brain actually craving alcohol more. So compliance is the golden rule for a reason. So that's like one of the biggest challenges people have if they're just not super motivated to take the medication every time that they drink. Another common setback is really when people are drinking out of habit. I commonly hear from my clients, sorry, my nose keeps itching. I commonly hear from my clients that they don't really have the desire to drink anymore, but they're still noticing that they're drinking out of habit. And so this is definitely something to be aware of. And I always recommend, and in our program, we help people change their habits in really small ways, but just being consistent with changing those habits over time. And then another setback is really developing new coping tools. A lot of time we're turning to alcohol for either relief or reward or both. And so if we're using it as a coping tool, it's a really effective temporary coping tool in the moment. And so to really teach ourselves to discover and use new coping tools so we're not just turning to alcohol every time there's a stressful day or, we want to escape from life or we're bored or whatever it is. But the great thing about this method is these things can be done gradually over time, and the medication makes it so much easier to do.